underwritten by Unity Learning Center. Unity Learning Center, better known as ULC, the place where we teach, we don't babysit. The home of Little Johnny, located at 6045 Highway 18 West in Jackson, Mississippi. We're open 6:30 a.m. until 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. We serve breakfast, lunch, and a snack. Our teaching curriculum is ABECA, one of the best, serving children 6 weeks to 5 years old in our preschool. Let's not forget about our after-school care, serving children 6 years to 12 years old. Your search is over for childcare. It stops right here because you found Unity Learning Center. For more info, it's 601-922-6003. That's 601-922-6003. And ask for Mrs. Armstrong. WFBR is proud to have Unity Learning Center as an underwriter.
This is WMPR 90.1 FM, Jackson, Mississippi.
It's 7 a.m. and the skies are shine. Smoke talks money, the future's alive. Grab your coffee, let's take a ride. It's wealth and wisdom, time will rise. Author, Mr. Educator, too, sharing the wealth, building things you should do. From trust to banking, it's all a must. Your guide to wealth is learning to trust. Legacy matters, secure it right. Dreams take shape with every insight. Rules and assets, life insurance plans, building for your future with expert hands. Sometimes money and more, raising wealth with knowledge galore. Asset protection plans to grow, to dream and watch your dreams overflow. From saving today to trust for life, breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, taking tips, we're here to help your fortune eclipse. From saving today to trust for life, breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, taking tips, we're here to help your fortune eclipse. So tune in now, it's time to learn. So wisdom's your return. Invest, protect, and thrive for sure. Signing off is gold, talks money and more.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I need you to stop what you are doing for just a moment. Turn down the television, pull the car over if you have to. Put down the coffee. And I need you to hear me this morning because I am troubled. I'm troubled this morning. I am a troubled Black woman. I am a troubled mother. I am a troubled grandmother. And I am a troubled daughter this morning. Excuse me. I'm a troubled member of a community that seems to be watching Black women suffer from every direction and treating it like just another headline. How many more funerals? How many more vigils? How many more mothers? How many more daughters? How many more wives? How many more sisters? How many more Black women have to suffer before somebody says enough is enough? Brothers, I don't know if you've noticed, but it feels like open season on us Black women. We're being physically attacked. We're being attacked emotionally. We're being attacked economically. We're being attacked politically. And we're being attacked from a standpoint of our health care. We're being attacked. And in many cases, we are being attacked by the very people who should be protecting us. And if that statement makes you feel uncomfortable, good. Because sometimes discomfort is the first step toward change. Good morning, Good morning and good morning. Welcome to another edition of So Talks Money and More, where we are always educating, enlightening, informing, and empowering our community. I am your host, Dr. Sabrina Edmon Williams, educator, author, and investor, opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted. I would like to say I'm delighted and excited to be here today, but this conversation is heavy this morning. I'm going to go ahead and forewarn you, it's heavy. I sent out a request to many of the Black men in my circle. I went through my phone yesterday because I need my brothers in the room today. Whether you're joining me on YouTube, on Facebook, or if you tuned in to the radio, I thank you for being here because this is a conversation that's long overdue. We have to have it. I am the messenger this morning, but trust me, the message that I'm bringing today, I speak for all of us when I say we're tired and we need some help. Now, if you're not able to join us live this morning, trust me, you don't want to miss the replay. Go on over to my YouTube channel, I Am So Noted. I Am So Noted, or my Facebook page, I Am So Noted, and catch the replay. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I see we have people from all over the country joining us for this conversation, and that's just how important it is this morning. And I got to start the show today by asking a simple question. And the question is, whose job is it to protect Black women? Whose job is it to protect Black women? Now, let me just say this. I got to put this out here, lay the foundation from the outset. Today's show is not about pointing fingers. I'm not trying to upset anybody, but I do need you to become enlightened and enraged, if you will, by the things that I'm about to say this morning. Today is not about pointing fingers, my brothers. Today is a call to action to Black men. Let me be specific who I'm talking to this morning. So if you need to pause, if I need to slow down so you can call a friend, text a friend, tell your brother, your cousin, your daddy, your granddaddy, somebody that they need to tune in this morning, I'll slow down because this is a conversation we need to hear. The reality is, if Black women are under attack, then the Black family is under attack. If the Black family is under attack, then the Black community is under attack. And if the Black community is under attack, then our very future is under attack. What are you talking about, Dr. Williams? What's troubling you? What's going on? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm troubled by the headlines that I am seeing all too often. Just last week, let's start there. And I'll begin one state over, Louisiana, Hammond, Louisiana, to be exact. We're going to start with the woman who never made it home. Patricia Shepard, 50-year-old mother. And according to her sister, she was someone who loved reading the Bible. She loved the Bible. 50-year-old woman had worked her shift, clocked out, ready to go home. That sound familiar? We do it all the time. Work an 8-hour, 10-hour, 12-hour shift, ready to go home, needed a ride, just a ride home from work. She was ready to go home and get some rest. She wanted to rest so she could see another day. But instead, according to authorities, gunmen unleashed approximately 70 to 80 rounds into the vehicle she was riding in. They stopped for gas. 70 to 80 rounds. I want you to let that settle in your spirit. 70 to 80 rounds. I don't know what that is, but I know it's not conflict resolution. I know that's not toughness. And I know it is not manhood. But what it is recklessness. It's destruction. That is complete disregard for human life. And here's the clincher. Patricia Shepard, from what I understand, was not even the intended target when she lost her life. Now, I don't know if any of you can relate to that on a personal level, but I sure can, because I lost a cousin in New Orleans, Louisiana, many years ago. I'm reminded of it every time my oldest son has a birthday, because they shared the same birth date. Same exact thing, riding in a car, a case of mistaken identity, and she lost her life. Brothers, I need to talk to you this morning. Can we talk? Can we talk? At what point did we decide that every disagreement must end with gunfire? When did who decided that? Who took a vote and said, this is how we resolve conflicts? At what point did we decide that conflict resolution means reaching for a weapon? At what point did we become so visionless that we cannot imagine another outcome beside violence? What kind of vision allows someone to pull a trigger 70 to 80 times? What type of vision is that? What future were they protecting? What dream were they building? What family were they strengthening? The answer is none. Because violence is what happens when vision dies. Violence. When you can't see beyond the petty disagreement, violence happens. A bullet cannot build a future, but it can definitely destroy one. I want you to let that sink in. Bullet may not be able to build your future, but it can definitely destroy one. I'm troubled this morning. If you're just tuning in, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this conversation this morning is not going to be comfortable, because I need anybody to tell me, whose job is it to protect Black women? I'm troubled by another video that I saw. It shook the nation this past week out of Shelby, South Carolina. Cherie Moore, a 34-year-old Black woman, was brutally assaulted by a 22-year-old, get this, police officer during an attempted arrest. According to the video footage, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but if you haven't, go Google it. It's out there. Miss Moore she's repeatedly telling this law enforcement officer, she doesn't understand why she's being arrested. There are no warrants for her arrest. And she's also telling him, I struggle with mental illness. And instead of providing her assistance, this police officer, this 22-year-old police officer, repeatedly punches this lady in her face with his fist until another officer arrived. Now, we can argue and debate that she was resisting arrest. I don't know. Depends on how you look at it. Maybe she was. But those details around that encounter, that's not the point. The point is, Black women are often expected to suffer in silence. Imagine trying to explain yourself, trying to be heard, trying to be treated with dignity. We're expected to endure everything, carry everything, fix everything, heal everybody, and somehow never break. But my brothers, Black women are human. We hurt, we grieve, we become overwhelmed, we suffer from mental illness. We need support. We need compassion. We need understanding, and we need protection. Yes, I know Black women are strong. It's been said, Black women are strong. And that's true. But strong does not mean indestructible. Doesn't mean indestructible. Just days ago, right here in the capital city, Jackson, Mississippi, another young life was lost after a dispute escalated into gunfire at a trail ride. 18-year-old Jordan Worthy was a 2026 graduate of Canton High School. 2026, just days ago, graduated high school. Now, I don't know about you, but when I envision an 18-year-old, I envision that an 18-year-old should be celebrating graduation, planning college, planning work, planning life, dreaming, imagining, building. That's what an 18-year-old should be doing. But once again, a dispute between males escalated into gunfire. And another family is left grieving this morning. Another family left grieving. Another family left trying to figure out how we gonna bury her. Another family trying to get the money together to pay for the funeral. Another family. Black men, I need you to know something. As I say, Dr. Williams is a messenger this morning, but baby, I carry this message for a whole lot of us. Need you to lean in right now. Lean in. We are tired. We're tired of attending funerals for our children who should be attending college orientations. We are tired of burying our children. We are tired of our community normalizing violence. Somewhere along the way, many of our brothers have confused manhood with aggression. But that's not what manhood is all about. We know that. Real manhood is responsibility. Real manhood is self-control. Real manhood is leadership. Real manhood is discipline. Real manhood is protection. Any fool can pull a trigger, but it takes a man to control himself. Sad reality is when men lose self-control, guess who suffer? Women and children often pay the price. My brothers, I need you to hear that. When you lose self-control, women and children often pay the price. We got to stop normalizing violence in our community. I'm going to say what needs to be said this morning. If you can like it or not like it, somebody has to say it. As I say, I'm the messenger. And what they say, don't the messenger. Okay? Sadly, we have become so accustomed to violence that many times we barely even react anymore. We become numb to it. We become numb. Another incident, another funeral, another grieving family, another mother crying, another hashtag, memorial t-shirt, balloon release. That's not normal. That is not normal. And we cannot keep pretending that it is. It's not normal. Growing up, I remember going to family reunions. Throughout my life, I've been blessed to have the opportunity to attend many. My question is, when did funerals become more common than family reunions? I talk to people all the time. You know, I travel this country for business, for pleasure, and I interact with people all the time. And when I tell people a lot of times that, again, I've been fortunate enough to experience family reunions really on both sides of my family, my paternal and maternal family, reunited for years. People oftentimes find that strange because a lot of families don't get together for reunions, but they do unite for funerals. And my question becomes, when did funerals become more common than family reunions? When did candlelight vigils become more common than graduation parties? When did burying our children become something we expect? Because I remember a generation that expected their children to outlive them. Today, many parents are praying simply not to have to bury their children. A community can't shoot its way to prosperity. We cannot do that. Got to do some things differently, my brothers, and we need you to lead on this. We're not calling you out this morning. We're not pointing fingers at you, but we got to point some things out to you. Unfortunately, some of the most dangerous places for women, particularly Black women, they're not even dark alleyways. They're not abandoned buildings. They're not dangerous neighborhoods. Sometimes the most dangerous place for a Black woman is her own home. I want you to let that sink in. Sometimes the most dangerous place for a Black woman is in her own home. I'm troubled this morning. If you're just tuning in this morning, this one is heavy. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. And it's going to get heavier because I'm not done yet. I'm just getting started, actually. Saw a social media post a while ago. And I'm just going to go through a list. And again, my brothers, I need you to lean in and listen to me close. And I got to be real careful because I am broadcasting on social media, and I know they have rules about words you can say and you cannot say. So you may have to just kind of stretch your imagination a little bit with me this morning, but you know where I'm going. Tiana Stokes, 22 years old, 7 months pregnant, lost her life 2 days before her 23rd birthday. Gladys Johnson, 22 years old, pregnant, lost her life in a fire in her own home. Denisha Heller lost her life in a vacant apartment. Her body was dumped by a dumpster. Victoria Alexander, 38 years old, a nurse, lost her life at the hands of her estranged husband at her workplace. Serena Fairfax, 49 years old, dentist, mother, Virginia's former second lady, lost her life at the hands of her spouse, ex-lieutenant governor of Virginia. Gabrielle Ayers, 26 years old, lost her life to gun violence while her 1-year-old daughter sat in the back seat. 50 bullets fired. Let that sink in. Raven Edwards, 34 years old, mother of 3 with kidney failure, lost her life with her 10-year-old daughter simply because she wanted to co-parent instead of date. Bianca Huntley, 34 years old, mother of 2, lost her life on an Atlanta highway. Amani Dia Smith, 26, former Broadway child star from The Lion King, lost her life. Lost her life. Qualisha Barnes, 36, rapper, 14 weeks pregnant, lost her life to gun violence. Ashanti Allen, 23 years old, 8 months pregnant, lost her life at the hands of her child's father, who had been convicted of assaulting her months earlier, served 143 days, got out, and then took her life. Nancy Mateo Bowen, 38 years old, Florida Vice Mayor, environmental scientist, first Black and Haitian American woman on the Coral Springs City Commission, about to announce her candidacy for Congress, lost her life at the hands of her spouse. 12 Black women. I just named 12 Black women who lost their lives in America between January and April of 2026. And these are just the ones that made the news. The reality is, when Black women die, America barely even notices. No national coverage for the most part, no viral hashtags, no outrage, just families grieving. Domestic violence. Domestic violence continues to devastate American families. Continues. And every time a woman is assaulted, terrorized, stalked, abused, and as social media says, unalived by someone claiming to love her, we must confront a painful truth. My brothers, you cannot love a woman and abuse her. You cannot love a woman and terrorize her. You cannot love a woman and control her through fear. That's not love. That's ownership. And guess what? Black women are not property. Get over it. Love doesn't abuse. Love does not terrorize. Love does not control. Love does not threaten. Love does not destroy. Don't believe me? Go look it up. 1 Corinthians 13. Go read it for yourself. It'll tell you all about what love is. And love is not any of those things that I just said. Love doesn't leave bruises on people that it claims to protect. Doesn't do that. Domestic violence. Domestic violence. Again, I asked the question, who is protecting Black women? Now I'm looking at the clock, Mr. Armstrong. I think it's time for us to take our mid-show break. But I don't want you to go anywhere. Just hang tight because we got some more things to walk out. It's time to have this conversation. I know it's not comfortable. I know it's heavy, but it's a must that we confront these things. If we're going to change them, if we're going to do anything about it, we have to have some open conversation. So we'll be back on the other side of the break. Hang tight.
And ask for Mrs. Armstrong. WLBR is proud to have Unity Learning Center as an underwriter.
All right, we're back. If you're just tuning in and you missed the first half of the show, you got to go on over to Facebook or YouTube and watch the replay. Today, we are having a very frank, a very honest conversation. And I asked the question, whose job is it to protect the Black woman? We're walking out some things this morning, and I need my brothers in the room. As I said, you might want to text somebody, call somebody, let them know that this conversation this morning is for them. My Black brothers, there are some things that we have to address. Before we left going to the break, I mentioned we have a problem. Black women are being assaulted. Black women are being abused. And that's not love. Love does not abuse. Love does not terrorize. Love does not control. Love does not threaten. Love does not destroy. And love certainly does not harm the very person who brought you into this world. Right here in Mississippi, Natchez, Mississippi, as a matter of fact, just a few weeks ago, we had an incident that shook many of us to our core. Lana Brown Bradley, a 62-year-old retired educator, brutally lost her life and was dismembered, allegedly by her own son. It grieves me to even speak those words, you guys. A mother, a woman who had spent decades contributing to society, gone, and allegedly at the hands of her own son. I cannot imagine. It's been a little while, I think 23 years, but I still remember the labor pains. I still remember that. And the idea that someone's own child would take their life in such a brutal way. Now, my brothers, if that doesn't shake you, I need you to check your pulse. Go ahead and take a pulse check right there. Because I mean, I'm having a hard time even talking through this morning. A mother should never have to fear her own child. She should never have to lose her life at the hands of someone that she carried in her womb, that she nurtured. Shouldn't be. This tragedy, it actually forces us to ask difficult questions. What are we teaching our young men? What values are we passing on to them? What examples are we setting? Where has the respect gone? Where has accountability gone? Where has discipline gone? We got to start talking about some things. We got to start thinking about some things, and we got to do some things differently, you guys, because the hand that fed you should never become the target of your rage. The womb that carried you should never. That should not be. That should not be. I want you to think about something. The Black woman. She is expected to be a mother, a wife, employee, caregiver, counselor, cook, teacher, chauffeur, nurse, prayer warrior, and often the breadwinner. And then people wonder why we are tired. Or as some folks say, why y'all just angry Black women? Well, the question isn't why Black women are exhausted or why we so angry. The question is, how in the world have we carried so much for so long? Well, oftentimes we turn to our faith. We turn to our faith as our source of strength. We turn to the church. It's our source of strength. And that leads me to another issue that we have to discuss this morning. And again, this grieves my heart, but I'm the messenger and I got to say what's on my heart this morning. And to be honest, this is one of the most painful parts of today's conversation. What happens when the place that is supposed to provide refuge becomes the place where someone experiences harm? What happens? Recently, I came across a story circulating on social media involving a young woman, and because of the specifics, and I think there is some pending litigation, I will not mention names here, but Google it. It's on social media. Young woman who alleges that she was groomed and, how do I say this, under her clothes assaulted by a pastor at a church not far from this very radio station. I know folks mind wonder now, is it my pastor? Not my pastor, is it? Go Google it. It's out there. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not here today to serve as judge, juror, or prosecutor. That is not what this conversation is about. The facts of that case, as I say, I think there's some pending litigation underway. But what I do want to talk about is the broader issue, because we're not going to glance over that. When I heard that young lady's story, my heart was grieved. My heart was grieved. For one, the question in my mind is, why would the place of refuge become something other than a safe haven? Young lady said the person had these young girls basically isolated, couldn't talk to anybody but him and them, and had to ask for permission to do things, and had to refer to him, not as pastor, but daddy. Bells go off in my head, because that doesn't sound like a preacher. It sounds like something else, a P word, but not a preacher. Y'all know where I'm going. And I'm going to be very kind, because, again, we're streaming on social media today. But when folks had you calling them daddy, and you got to ask them for permission to do things, bells should go off. And my brothers, that type of behavior in the house of the Lord should be troubling to you. When you got these folks out here grooming these young girls, my question is, why is a young woman not able to go to a person of the opposite sex, especially these folks in the church? I'm on church folks right now, okay? I'm not talking about the folks in the world. I'm talking about church folks. Why should I not be able to go to you for help, for guidance, and direction without you trying to get up underneath my clothes? Come on, brothers. We can do better than that. You have a mother. You have sisters. You have daughters. We can do better than that. We got to start talking about these broader issues. I know this is not a comfortable conversation. It wasn't meant to be a comfortable conversation, but it's one that is necessary, because unfortunately, this is not the first time that we have heard allegations involving abuse within religious institutions. Some folks call it church hurt. It's not the first time. And that should concern all of us, because the church is supposed to be a place of healing, a place of refuge, a place where the broken find restoration. You don't go there whole to become broken. You go broken to be restored. The church is supposed to be the place where the vulnerable find protection. Yet, too often, we hear stories of people whose trust was violated by individuals who held positions of spiritual authority. And when that happens, here's the problem. When that happens, the damage goes far beyond that individual victim. Far beyond that individual victim. It damages families. It damages faith. It damages communities. And sometimes it even damages a person's relationship with God. Now, all of us going to have to stand before the Father one day and answer for some things. What we don't want to have to answer for is ruining someone else's relationship with the Lord, causing them to stumble because we could not control ourselves. We got to do better. Got to do better. There's a special kind of pain that comes when the person who was supposed to protect your faith becomes the reason you struggle with it. Let me say that again. There is a special kind of pain that comes when the person who was supposed to protect your faith becomes the reason you struggle with it. I would like to tell you that physical assaults are the only type of assaults that we as Black women are experiencing, my brothers. But it's not. It's not. Got to shift the conversation right here to something that's often overlooked. Violence is not the only attack Black women face. Economic instability is also an attack. And I want you to think about something. Across the nation, Black women have historically represented a significant portion of public sector and governmental workers or government workers. And I want you to think back just a year ago with the Doge cuts, who was impacted most? Who was impacted? Whose jobs disappeared? Whose families suffered? Whose communities suffered? Whose children suffered? Who? Black women. Black women are often the financial backbone of entire households. When you remove that income, the entire family structure begins to shake. We're under attack. We're being assaulted. When a Black woman loses a paycheck, an entire family often loses stability. Think about a household where the woman is the head of household. There are not two paychecks coming in. One that's holding it together. When a Black woman loses a paycheck, an entire family often loses stability. My brothers, I need you to lean in this morning. Need you to hear what I'm saying. We're tired. We're under assault. Our very health is under assault. Now, I was really taken aback several months ago. There were a couple of stories. I think one came out of Texas and one out of maybe Indiana or somewhere. Two Black women, pretty similar scenarios that go into the hospital. One was I think both of them were pretty much in labor, about to bring life into the world, and could not receive the medical care that they needed. In fact, one video that I saw was so upsetting. There's a young lady that's clearly in active labor, and the person that's there doing the intake is just casually asking questions: name, date of birth, address. And this lady is clearly in active labor. Another instance, lady went to the hospital. She's telling them, hey, I'm having problems. I feel like I'm about to have the baby. They put she and her husband out of the hospital. So she delivered her baby on the side of the highway. Just minutes later, after being put out of the hospital. And the sad part about it is, Black women, we face significantly higher maternal mortality rates than white women. We already face these high mortality rates, maternal and infant, right here in the very state of Mississippi. highest infant mortality rate in the country and among the highest in maternal mortality. Got to do better. Won't you, my brothers, I want you to imagine something for me. Imagine bringing life into the world while fighting to be believed. You're in labor. You're fighting to be believed. You're in pain. I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like firsthand. You may not, but I know what that feels like firsthand. I can remember laying in St. Dominic's Hospital when I had my second child, trying to convince folks that something was wrong. Oh, you just had a baby. Well, this ain't my first go around. It's my second child. I know how I'm supposed to feel after having a baby. I cannot move. I can't move my lower body. Something is wrong with me. I know what it feels like to not be heard. But for the grace of God, the blood clot passed hours later. Imagine that, my brothers, not being heard. Imagine trying to survive childbirth while navigating bias. Imagine knowing statistically that you're at a higher risk even before you enter the hospital. Imagine that. Imagine. Woman bringing life into the world deserves to have her own life value. The woman bringing life into the world deserves to have her own life valued. I'm going to take one more shift here, and we're going to start wrapping this thing up. Final assault. And this is one, again, my brothers, I need you to lean in and listen to me close, because some of our very brothers are guilty of this one. And that is the assault of disrespect. The assault of disrespect. Now, whether it comes from whoever, politicians, public officials, media personalities, people online, or even the commander-in-chief, the disrespect directed toward Black women has become commonplace. And what troubles me is how often people find it funny. Ha ha, he he. Funny. How often people excuse it. How often people normalize it. Respect shouldn't be dependent on whether we agree with someone. Should not be dependent. And my sisters, I'm going to say this to you. I think we've got to do a better job at demanding respect. Now, there was and it may still be on Netflix now, a comedy special with comedian Kevin Hart on Netflix that was absolutely deplorable in my opinion, my humble opinion. And what I was most troubled by, the part that I did see and then the parts that I heard about, was the roast that was done by comedian Cheryl Underwood. And as I understand it, there were some things said about her deceased husband. I don't know how that's funny. How do you joke about someone's deceased husband? And I think it was a situation where he may have taken his own life. I don't know all the details, but I don't know why that would be funny under any circumstances. It's disrespectful, is what it is. A person's dignity should not be up for debate. Got to do some things differently, my family, my community. It's time out. We tend to like to be entertained as a community, and I'm not knocking entertainment. Nobody likes having a good time any more than Dr. Williams. Don't get me wrong. But with everything that's going on in our community, in this country right now, this stuff is not a laughing matter. When you have a woman in broad daylight being hard for me to say, imagine being at that service station in their car, simply trying to get home after work, and folks jump out and just unleash bullet after bullet after bullet after bullet, and you have no idea what's going on. We're not talking about Iran. You expect that in Iran. We're in an active war with Iran. You don't expect that in America, on the streets of America, at a gas station of all places. What's going on? Come on, community. Come on, my brothers. I got to do better. Got to do better. And I'm looking at the clock and I see it's time for me to go ahead and wrap this thing up. So I'm going to go ahead and give out this final call to my Black brothers. And I need you to hear me clearly, brothers. Again, this is not an attack on Black men. This is a call to action. This is an invitation to lead, an invitation to protect, an invitation to build, an invitation to restore. This is your moment. This is your moment. This is not somebody else's responsibility. When I asked the question at the beginning of the show, I already had the answer. Whose responsibility is it to protect Black women? My brothers, this is your moment. This is your responsibility, not somebody else's. This is yours. This is what we need. In case you dealing with women or have dealt with women that don't have the ability to adequately express their needs. Again, I'm the messenger. I'm going to tell you what we need. We need you to protect us. We need you to listen to us. We need you to respect us. We need you to support us. We need you to defend us. We need you to value us. We need you to encourage us. We need you to partner with us. We need you to pray with and for us. We need you to stand beside us. The reality is, every Black man listening this morning can name at least one Black woman, one who helped him become who he is. I don't care who you got on your arm right now. Okay? That's not up for debate. Every Black man listening can name at least one Black woman who helped him become who he is. Whether that's your mother, your grandmother, your teacher, your wife, your aunt, your sister, mentor, somebody. Now, the question is, how are you honoring her? How are you protecting her? How are you supporting her? How are you speaking up for her? How are you showing up for her? Because protecting Black women isn't just a woman's issue. It's a family issue. It's a community issue. It's a moral issue. And it's a vision issue. I know this one has been heavy, you guys, but again, it's a necessary conversation. I know We get into June, Father's Day is coming up, and I know many of our faith-based institutions will be having Men's Day programs. And many of you listening this morning, you may have said, well, Dr. Williams, none of that stuff really applies to me because I'm protecting my family, I'm protecting my wife, I'm protecting the women in my life. Well, you may be invited to be a speaker at some of these Men's Day programs. So I wanted to give you some material to use. Time out for all those fluff conversations. It's time to give a call to action to Black men this morning. It's time to give a call to action. So if you have the honor of serving as speakers at some of these upcoming Men's Day programs, when you're in the barbershop, when you're hanging out with your guy friends on the golf course, on the basketball court, wherever you are, it's time to shift the conversations. Because we're tired. We need your help, we need your support, and we need your protection. That being said, I am Dr. Sabrina Edmon Williams, and today I had to lay something heavy on you, but you know I do it out of love. Until next time, take care. Keep educating, enlightening, informing, and empowering our community, because that's surely what I'm going to do. Peace.
So tough, funny, and more.